Another from my uncle. B uncle. 1998. Him and friend got their hands on a bootleg VHS of Big Lebowski. Both stay up kind of late watching film a few times. Both smoke some weed and mess with Ouija board. Nothing all that exciting. Standard names and yes or no questions. They get bored and start to fall asleep. Uncle take couch in front section of the living room. Sort of an enclosed patio where you can see through the windows out to the street. Uncle hears sort of whispering. Shakes it off as him being high and imagining stuff. Hears deep voices whispering to each other. Doesn't move and tries to listen. Voices instantly stop. Uncle's friend is fast asleep on the other couch. G anon. How come your grandma lets you have two couches? Thrift shopping. Uncle finally feels comfortable enough to just sleep and pretend he didn't hear anything. Both wake up the next morning covered in deep scratches. All over arms and shins. Never sleep in the front patio room again after that. So this is one of the first stories that I remember clearly from my childhood. Be me. About 3 years old. Sitting in front room. Room right next to room where that portal is. Playing with toys. See a face peeking around the corner of the wall at me. I look over and face disappears behind corner. Woman's face. Long black hair. I remember not being scared of her. Look back at my toys and see her again in the corner of my eyes. Look back and she disappears behind the corner again. Play this game of peekaboo for probably 10 minutes, laughing the whole time. Grandma call out from the kitchen, what I'm laughing about. We're playing. Okie. MP4. Tell me uncle about the lady, and he goes pale. Apparently he saw her when he was a baby as well and remembers her playing with him too. Not all spirits in that house were bad, I guess. First Arizona happening. Be me. Be 5 years old. Live in town called Show Low. Not story related, but I love the fact the city is named Show Low because two ranchers were playing poker and whoever won would own the land. They played for hours and it was a constant stalemate, so they bet whoever had the lowest card would win. Founder showed the two of clubs and won. Main street of city is called Deuce of Clubs in memory of this. Back the story. One night sleep and have extremely vivid dream. Be in white room. Great grandfather comes into room from door that disappears after he closes it. Wearing his classic sweater vest and khakis combo. Classic fresh fit. Great grandpa sits next to me and gives me a hug. Hey anon, how are you and your mom doing? We're good, we miss everyone. How is Arizona? It's hot. He laughs and hugs me again. Tells me that he needs me to tell my mom something and that I'm not supposed to be sad. I agree. Tells me that he has to leave and that he won't be in Ohio when we go back. Tells me that he has to go to another place and that we'll see him again someday. Tells me that he loves me and my mom very much and he trusts me to make sure my mom won't get too sad about it. I tell him that I don't really understand, but I will try. He checks his watch and says it's time for him to go. He stands up and pats me on the head before disappearing through the door he came from. Next day mom comes into my room, crying. Just got off the phone with my grandma. Says she has something to tell me and am not supposed to get sad. She tells me grandpa died in his sleep and tells me she doesn't want me to be too upset. Calmly tell her he already talked to me. I tell her about what grandpa said. To this day she says the way I nonchalantly told her this stuff was kind of chilling and she never heard a child talk about this stuff, so matter-of-factly. We go back to Ohio for funeral and came back to Arizona a few weeks later. Now we're heading back to Ohio happenings. We'll post more from Arizona if I can remember them. Be me. Moved back to Ohio about 3 months ago. Be sitting in grandma's house. Sitting in kitchen where TV is. Home alone. Grandma is working night shift. Mom is working night shift as well. House to myself. Watching Billy and Mandy. See someone standing in the corridor leading to back door. Assume it is my mom home early and just say, oh, you're home early. No response. Look over and figure is facing away from me but closer. Hair on neck stands up and balls shrink into my throat. Knock over chair running upstairs. Hide in room all night. Mom comes home first and I tell her about it. She tells me next time to just tell the spirit to leave. Yeah, okay, sure thing. I posted this one in a other thread about shadow people, but I'll post it here too. Be me. Have friends spending the night at grandma's house. We stay up late and we are playing pretend late into the night. Sleeping in the front room. Same room uncle had gotten those scratches in. Friend wakes me up and is crying. Says he say a man made of smoke that was looking at us and then walked straight through the wall into the next room. Go look around the kitchen. Nothing. Friend stays up the rest of the night and doesn't come over for a long time. Sort of like pick related. This one is shorter as not much happened, but here you go. Be me. Probably 12 at the time. Be walking in a woods with two friends. We chilling, talking, walking. Suddenly hear rustling in bush. Lots of rustling. Holy shit, it's getting louder. We book it down the hill and look back up. All we see is a huge broad-shouldered pitch black entity with glowing red eyes. Not circles but the apple slice-shaped evil eyes. It has a mist-like attribute to it. Kinda like the heat waves of a mirage. It starts levitating towards us, and we take off towards my house running as fast as we can. Pissing my brown pants. We look back, and it's got its arms outstretched, as if it wanted to grab us. We keep running until we get to my house. Don't tell parents, because they will think I'm a schizo. Decide to go to sleep. Wake up how long later. I can't move, I can't make a sound. All I can do is look around. I look into the corner of my room and see it. It materializes into existence. And just sits in the corner. Staring at me. It slowly comes to the foot of my bed and leans over me. That's when a pair of long hairy arms with black razor-sharp nails come from what is above me that I can see. And they grab me and cover my eyes. I woke up the next morning and have never seen anything like this again. Be me. 20 in unit. Recording a short story in the studio with classmates for Day of the Dead. The building and the studio have that 70s aesthetic to it, like Pick Rel, but with grey insulation on the walls and ceiling. Those places are really quiet because of all of the sound insulation and lack of windows to the outside. The building is famous for weird stuff happening and having an eerie vibe to it. When you are editing, you feel stage fright, as if lots of people are looking at you from the other side of the console room. The girl that wrote this story is a feminazi, but she's a good writer, credit where credit is due. Filled a recording with high-quality SFX. Epidemic sound wooden or closed. WAV. Getting in the mood because it is late and it's just 7 of us plus a teacher downstairs in the whole building. Get to the part of the recording narration where the main character opens a door to find something scary on the other side. Tell them, wouldn't it be funny if when we bounce, like rendering the audio right at this part, the studio door opens by itself? Oh yeah, super scary, dude. Finish editing the short story. Bounce the audio. Get to the part where the main character opens the door. The door from our studio starts opening real slow by itself. It's a heavy door because of the insulation, so the hinges squeak as it opens. Everyone just stares at the door without uttering a sound. Get up and walk towards it. Close it and go back to my seat. No one says anything. The bounce process ends. We save it and turn the console and Mac off. That was fucking scary. Did you realize that it opened right when I said it would be funny? It opened by itself. Close studio and never talk of said incident again, only when sharing spooky encounters with other classmates in the same building. This story literally happened 5 days ago, last Saturday. Be me. 5 days ago, as of writing this. Decided to bring my girlfriend, my friend and her exchange student boyfriend from Finland, and my other friend was a bi Hong Konger, strange chick. For context, because this may play into it though. I shot a deer that morning, skinned and butchered it. And I brought it to my family farm, different farm from the first story. To drop it off for coyotes, to finish off or drag off. My friend, who we will call RF, Russian friend, she's a Stacy fag, but I love her to death, so IJF. My GF will be called GF, of course. My other 2 friends will be HK, Hong Konger, and FB, Finboy. We drive out to my farm, and it's around 6:20 p.m, quite dark already. We get there and are driving towards my already established camp area. RF mentions something along the lines of, haha, wouldn't it be funny if we saw a skinwalker anon? Immediately tell her to stfu, don't say that shit out loud. RF apologizes and agrees that it's a bad idea. She's sorta XK mix. FB, wait, what is Skinwalker anon? Me, stfu FBI already told RF to shut up about it. He proceeds to keep bantering and pestering me about it, and I'm basically forced to tell him about the legends and stories. Finally he shuts up about it, and looking back there was already a sense of paranoia from just talking about it. We drop off deer carcass and guts deep in a woods about a football field away from our camping spot. We get to spot, set up camp, chairs, food, fire, we chilling. I wanna start a good all in a woods spoopy thread. I have 4 stories if you guys are interested in my first story. I've already posted this first story on X before, but here is a greentext version. Be me. 17 at the time. Be in high school with part-time job. Job is feeding cows for grandpa. It's early winter. Just darker sooner. PNG. Get cow feed and everything work truck. Go to first farm. Already dark. Forget keys like tard. FML.exe. Grab 2 buckets at a time. Walk them 40 yards over gate. Whistle to stay upbeat and because oddest. After getting done head back to truck. Barely hear noise over leaves crunching. Sounds like someone learning how to whistle. Weird but animals or something. Next couple days. Keep hearing the whistling. Next one happened to me when I was about 14. Be me. Moved to wooded area with family. Live in new house for a few months. House is kind of noisy and makes sounds when I'm alone. Explore woods for fun. Take knife my grandfather made. Go around and carve symbols into trees because I'm edgy teen. Mom always told me not to do this as we grew up listening to native spiritualism from my grandfather in Arizona who is half Blackfoot, so we were pretty spiritual about nature growing up. Next couple weeks house gets noisy. Basement has old bar style pool table. Very loud when balls go into the pockets. Next few weeks when I'm home alone pool table is clanking loudly as if someone is throwing balls into pockets. Keep having nightmares about waking up in the woods alone at night. 2 weeks later had enough. Go into woods. Find trees I marked. Apologize to them. Put honey over the marks I made and promise not to do it again. House is silent as a library after. No more nightmares. Thank you tree bros. My last thread I made got archived and I had a few more stories to tell. So here's my last story, and if y'all want more just LMK. Here we go. Be me. Probably 15, 18 at mid-November, because hunting. I like getting up before sunup to get drop on deer. Walking through old trail in woods. Crunching, and my cold icy breaths is all I can hear. Besides that it's just nighttime in a woods sounds. At the time, couldn't own guns so had CZ.223. Keep walking till I get to stand. Climb stand. Get to the top and hang my pack from hooks in tree. Take out antlers and grunt call. Sit for maybe an hour. Maybe 40 minutes before sunrise. Decide to rattle and grunt. Rattle, rattle, grunt. After getting done sit back. After like 20, hear grunt wheeze. Oh should big. POG.